Senator Bernie Sanders is taking over as head of the Senate's Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee next month. This is good news. We want him to be the chair of this incredibly important committee, a committee that is usually bombarded with healthcare lobbyists who fight tooth and nail to prevent any cost controls or price controls on pharmaceutical drugs. Healthcare companies, though, are whining that they're going to lose a fraction of the massive influence they've had over the United States government. Now, Bernie has stated in an interview that his priorities will be simple, very clear. He will be improving primary care access, sounds great, reducing the cost of pharmaceutical drugs and insulin, meaning reducing the cost of insulin for everyone, not just those who already have health insurance. He wants to expand early childhood education. He wants to beef up the health and education workforce, which is important considering some of the staff shortages we've been noticing both in education and healthcare. And he wants to try to tackle an increase in the minimum wage through this role as well. Now, he believes those policies will have bipartisan support. I believe that is where Bernie Sanders tends to be incredibly naive, but I hope he proves me wrong, okay? I have yet to see Republicans really sign on to these economic populist proposals. I've seen them pretend to be populist, but then immediately work against the American people when it comes to these policies. But nonetheless, Bernie has my support, and I know he will fight for these things. I just want him to be real about who he's working with. And kill him with kindness, great. I mean, but sometimes kindness doesn't work. Just putting it that way. Now, Bernie says that he will also take action on issues that his Republican colleagues are less likely to support, such as advocating for Medicare-for-All, taking on the pharmaceutical industry aggressively, and promoting free public college tuition. Now, as head of this committee, Bernie will also be able to subpoena, I love this, subpoena health industry executives. And this is where you have the healthcare industry and its lobbyists shivering in their boots. Now, lobbyists are terrified because they know they won't be able to boss Bernie around. They also won't be able to influence him through campaign donations. He is definitely against them, they know it, and they can't influence him. Now, Megan Wilson of Politico writes this: Sanders's well-chronicled antagonism toward lobbyists has some concerned they'll be unable to blunt criticism of their clients' profits or corporate executive salaries. Aw, poor babies. Lobbyists also worry they'll struggle to get traction on any push to make changes to a drug discount program involving pharmaceutical companies and hospitals, or revisit association health plans after a Trump-era rule around them was voided. So they're worried that, they don't have enough cookies and Bernie's unwilling to give them more cookies, to which I say, go ahead and cry about it. I enjoy your tears. Of course, the lobbyists are already scheming ways to get around Bernie's authority as chair of this committee. For instance, they're already lobbying other lawmakers on the same committee. They're shoving their priorities into large, otherwise unrelated government bills. Like that's what they want to do in order to kind of get their priorities passed without much negative attention. They're also focusing on the committee's House counterpart, which is the Energy and Commerce Committee. Now, the healthcare lobby is one of, if not the biggest power player on K Street. Just to give you an idea, here's some stats for you. In 2021, the healthcare companies spent a whopping $700 million on lobbying, which was the highest ever reported in a single year. And you guys are probably gonna notice this more and more. Every election cycle, we break lobbying records, right? More and more money pours into the coffers of these politicians. 7 of the top 10 organizations registered to lobby on the Inflation Reduction Act, out of more than 2,000 in total, were pharmaceutical or health insurance companies. And that's because the original version of the bill had some, price controls for pharmaceutical drugs, and that got stripped down considerably. There were other elements of the bill that the healthcare lobby did not want, and they succeeded in getting it stripped out. Now, there's another reason why these lobbyists are worried or concerned about Bernie. Unlike other progressives who have completely ruled out running for president if Joe Biden decides he's gonna retire and he won't run again. Like Ro Khanna, for instance, is like, I'm not gonna run for president unless Biden says he's done and he's not gonna run again. Bernie Sanders, though, apparently is keeping his options open. So Burgess Everett, who interviewed Bernie for Politico, wrote this: for now, Sanders is shrugging off his own re-election decision in 2024. He said his sole focus is on the chairmanship he's been building toward since he was first elected to the Senate in 2006. Shrugging off is not an unequivocal no. Usually when politicians are considering a run, they'll be like, I'm really focused at the task at hand, and then it turns out they run. So we'll see. I mean, look, I'm not really impressed with anyone in the Democratic Party right now, save for a few people like Bernie Sanders. I would prefer, if we're gonna have someone who's older run, I would prefer him over Biden, that's for sure. We'll see what happens, but he is being vague, and I think he's being vague on purpose. But moral of the story is, let us rejoice in healthcare lobbyists whining and shivering in their boots today over Bernie Sanders. If that's all we can get for now, I'll take it. It's better than nothing.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.